welcome to Pitch Brand Talk. I'm Simran Sabarwal. I'm really happy to have with me today Joyita Singh. She's the director at Senko Gold and Diamonds, and she is also the head of marketing and design at Senko Gold and Diamonds. Joyita, welcome.
Hello, thank you, Simran, for having me here today. It's such a pleasure to be here.
Joyita, first I want to start off. We are nearly at the end of the financial year. So, how's the year been for Senko Gold and Diamonds?
Year has been good for Senco Gold and Diamonds. Um, Actually, you see, with the disposable income growing and the industry is expected to also grow by a few lakh crore rupees this year. So, as such, the consumer demands have been good. Then this year, the duty cut was also there. That's when we saw a surge of, customers coming to the showroom. So, overall, the response has been good for us in the market.
I was just looking at your website. You have a wide range of products across gold, silver, platinum, and diamonds, and also now lab grown diamonds. So, how would you define your TG for these so many products in your portfolio? Any price points you're looking when it comes to identifying your core cohort?
Yes, so actually, I'll take a little time to answer that question. See, first we have Senco Gold and Diamonds, which is the main brand. Then we have Everlight, which is everyday fine wear jewelry. So over there, our price point typically starts from now, currently with 15,000 onwards. So over there, you have everyday wear, fancy, trend based jewelry, which also collection based jewelry. So we had our ribbon collection, which was absolutely a huge success because people love the curves and the twirls. So that starts from 15,000, and the TG for that is from 20 to 50, because that's everyday wear and people keep coming back with the jewelry and then they exchange for newer designs. Then you have for men, so again that TG is just for men, aham. Then we have gossip and silver, again the TG is young girls, college. Then again, for gifting, marriage, so again the TG over there is varied. So because of the different verticals we have, the requirement changes, so the TG also changes. And recently we've launched Senes, which is again a different brand of stores. So over there, it's more for fashion, and where we have perfumes, leather bags, and lab grown diamonds. So the TG again is a very younger crowd. So depends on the vertical that we have. So the TG keeps changing.
Great, but can you share some of the consumer insights that you've kind of picked up and how that has translated into your marketing efforts?
So, consumers right now, they're looking for, experiences. They're looking for collections. They're looking for stories. So, our campaigns are around how we make our jewelry, the ideas behind our designs, because when you come to a jewelry store, you're coming for designs. So that is predominantly what is driving the consumer preference. So what is new today? So every time, every month, we are releasing new designs, so that is how the consumer today is always looking for something different, because we're in the world of social media. You wear it once. Recently, the other day, I was talking to someone and this lady told me, I was so humiliated. I wore this dress and jewelry 2 years ago and I repeated it thinking no one will remember. And sure enough, someone came up to me and said, weren't you wearing this last time at this event? So you see, so this thought is driving people for always asking for what is new. And trend nowadays are changing so quickly, and international trends are influencing our designs. So, these are consumers are constantly being updated. So we also have to update and upgrade our designs as per consumer demands. And then consumers are looking at experiences, convenience, like online or offline, that I want it at the click of a fingertip. So these are all what is driving consumer trends, and we have to keep offering our campaigns and designs accordingly.
Okay, now I just want to come to your different verticals and brands one by one. I want to start off with your luxury vertical, which is Sense, which is for your luxury leather bags and your recent foray into lab grown diamonds. So, what was the insight that went into entering lab grown diamonds? Is this a really big and upcoming market in India also?
Yes, it is. Actually, you see, India is now a very young country, and from the perspective of brand, we are absolutely, I will not even say infant, we are nascent stage. That now India is learning to understand brand, understand what a brand value, brand what it represents. So because of that, actually, Sunny started with the idea of offering perfumes from France, because I realized that in India we don't have, everyone follows European brands, but no one really has a Indian brand to be proud of. That in one roof is offering you, perfumes, bags, and jewelry. If you look at Cartier, Bulgari, they're all doing that. So, for the young generation who is now looking at Indian brands, and we are very proud of our Indian origin, well, that is how we are now realizing the value of belonging to India. Initially we've always been proud, but now I think we are prouder. So keeping that in mind with the younger generation, so our lab grown diamonds are also very affordable. So, which is why, see, the aspiration for diamonds is there. And now destination weddings are there where people don't want to carry their heavy diamond jewelry. So there are multiple reasons why people are going for lab grown diamonds. And we've always noticed a trend that starts in Europe, goes to America, and then ultimately comes to India 4 to 5 years later. So now the lab grown diamond is a big thing in the American market, and that trend is slowly coming in. As people understand more about lab grown diamond, this trend is going to grow more. Right now there is still a little bit about confusion in the minds of people. They're not understanding where it's coming from, how, what, where. But I do foresee this becoming into, because in 5 years suddenly lab grown diamond, I mean, this lab grown diamond, market production, they've been trying to push for it for a very long time. But suddenly in the last 5 years, it's caught on with the consumers in such a short span of time. If it's catching on, then can you imagine once it's established, it's going to catch on even faster, because knowledge, explanation is all out there. So,
Yes.
so the ultimate objective is to educate the consumer and provide them with something new. And this is the future product.
I just want to know currently what's the size of lab grown diamonds in India and how big do you think it will grow, even in terms of percentage? What do you sense, say, 5 years down the line? How big can it become in India? I'm not talking only from a Senko perspective, I'm talking from an
The
overall
industry.
market perspective.
Absolutely. I think it's a very good question, because you see, it's not just about Senko, it's about the market, the consumers. So, currently, I mean, initially it started with 2 to 3 brands that were in the market. And now everyone is trying to, either locally or globally or, nationally, trying to get in with lab grown diamonds. Like a few of our competitors are not sure how to place their lab grown diamonds within their brands. But then there are other brands who are coming in solely with lab grown diamonds as their product. So you see, as a result of which now there are many, in fact, I will not even say 5 years, I'll say in the next 2 years, lab grown diamond is going to spread across the market. And the thing is that it's actually not very confusing as long as the customer understands the place of the natural diamond and the place of the lab grown diamond, and both has its own respect in the market. And also the transparency is extremely important. Like we have a Senko and we have a Senes, and the certifications should also be provided, like we do with our Senko and with our Senes. The company that provides certifications also different, the operations, everything is very different. So that the transparency to the customers, that is very important to provide, so that they know what they are getting and they understand, very importantly, what they are getting. So I foresee this, in terms of percentage, I'll say 40% of the market will become lab grown diamonds in
Lab
the
grown.
next 5 years.
Wow, that's really a huge jump. Anyway, I just want to also come to your men's collection. How has that been the response and what's been the kind of growth that you've seen?
So men's collection is again another wonderful surprise for us, because if you really look around you from a non-jewelry perspective, men's grooming, let's face it, that
Correct.
market has seen a huge rise.
Exploded.
Yes. So because of which men have realized that why should we be the neglected gender when it comes to fashion? So because of which men's jewelry, I'll say, has seen a 30% growth in purchase, because the younger
Okay.
generation are willing to experiment with jewelry.
Jewelry.
Yeah, and because of which we've established Aham. We've gotten Kartik Aryan as our brand ambassador because he is looked upon as the young fashion, forward person to sort of, guide and inspire the men to how to wear jewelry, how to style yourself. So, and honestly, I've always believed that every gender has its place and has its, so for me, it's a very happy surprise when we observe that men's jewelry sales are really doing well. And men are now experimenting. They, beyond the traditional bracelet and the chain, they want to experiment with finger rings and other kind of products. So it's really nice. They actually come up to us with customization, and we're happy to do it. So that's where we are also getting the feedback that okay, men are now, previously it was what is there, they buy, but now customization. So this shows the trend that men's jewelry is on the rise.
That's really interesting. Now, you've mentioned you have so many brands, Sense, and then you mentioned Everlight, which is for every day, where you have Gossip and the showroom Desinia. So I just want to know, like, what is any synergies or cross learnings between brands which you've kind of implemented?
The synergy, which we actually, the common learning which comes out of it is that people are always looking for new trends and new designs,
Okay.
and this is the most common synergy which is there. That what new can you offer your customers, what is the experience you can do for them,
Sure.
and the design, just like designs and designs. And at Senko we focus mainly on designs, so that is at the core of our marketing campaign. So that is the synergy which keeps coming out, because we have to understand, no matter what the TG is and no matter what vertical, whether it's lightweight Everlight or whether it's Senko for an occasion wedding or it's a Aham for men, at the end of the day they all, the jewelry, the commonality that comes out is the designs and the trends that people want to wear to look good, and they always want to flaunt something new. So that is the common synergy which comes out, and of course the stories behind them is what is the common synergy between all our campaign. So
So how has your marketing mix kind of evolved in, the recent past? And where are you actually putting in the money? So is digital getting a higher share of your budget vis-a-vis, say, TV and the traditional media?
oh yes, it is, because the thing is that with digital you are able to reach a person who is interested, as opposed to a TV, which is the traditional media where you are reaching out to a lot more people, but then some of them are interested, some of them are not interested. Some will buy jewelry, some will not buy jewelry. So over there, the tier 2, 3 cities where we are, it's important to reach out to the traditional media. So that percentage, but that percentage is less. So maximum of our marketing is done through digital, because there you're reaching out to every corner, not just of India, of the world, to those who are actively looking for jewelry or fashion or something new to wear. So that is why digital media has always been the higher spend area.
But what's the role of traditional media? I mean, TV, print, even out of home, or even experiential. How is that? What is the role of that now in your marketing strategies?
So those are there because traditional mediums are also effective and they are important, because when you're every day you're going back and forth, because digital media is also extremely congested. So you see something, then another comes, and then another comes. So your mind is literally exploding with so many brands that you see out there. But when you're seeing it on a TV, it is not as cluttered because everybody cannot be on TV. And also
Correct.
for a hoarding, you are seeing it visually every day. At the end of the day, no matter how much we innovate or the core of human beings remain the same, we need a visual, thing to anchor us mentally. We need to see something on our television, that is because that also eliminates a lot more players. So those mediums are equally important depending on what you want to promote at that time.
Can you tell us more about your recent Valentine's campaign?
So our Valentine's campaign is about expressions of love, and in that we have Ice Cube collection, which is princess cut diamond, something different to offer your love, and a collection which is inspired from berries because they have some beautiful colors, and berries are also supposed to be something which is good for us. So it's like offer something that is healthy and good in your love, and the designs are also very innovative, young, and overall the campaign is about expressing your love. So we have people encouraging them to talk about their love story. So Valentine's Day is not just one day of expression of love, it is the accumulation of your relationship over years. Or for new love, it's something that just started and you expect it to go somewhere. So expression of love is something that can be throughout the year. So that's the whole idea behind the campaign.
That's nice. Uh, can you also give me an idea of your retail footprint, distribution footprint? You're currently, how many stores do you have on ground?
So across India, we have 170 showrooms currently.
Okay.
So we are
And
now
and
across 91 cities in the
91
country.
cities, 170 showrooms. And do correct me if I'm wrong, but the north and the east are your strong markets.
Yes, the north, first east is our strong market, then north, and then the rest of India.
And are you looking to expand? What are your expansion plans on this front?
So we are looking to expand. We do have a roadmap for our expansions. In this year alone, we have a lot of places already marked out for our expansion. So that's the way forward.
And looking ahead, what can we expect from Senko Gold and Diamond?
So definitely you can expect more stores near you. Then different verticals of Senko to be there near you, and also different collections and designs, because Senko Gold and Diamonds has a legacy of over 85 years for designs, because over years we've adorned women, and we know the in and out. Our karigars are 3 generation old. So that kind of karigari designing is what people should expect from Senko, not just in this coming year, but in the years to come. And of course, Senes also near you, because we've launched our perfumes, which has been received well, our lab grown diamonds, which is going to be the future of the market, and our leather bags. And we are there online as well, so that we can get close to all our customers.
Here's wishing you all the luck. Thank you so much, Veda, for your time.
Thank you so much, Simran, for having me here.